Welcome to Vegan Ultra. I'm your inspiration guide, Adam Gallus, on this epic quest for hope, health, and happiness, in which I lose 150 pounds on a whole food vegan diet while transforming myself into the Captain America version, hero of vegan causes and inspiration to my family and friends and everybody watching on YouTube, that we can all become the ultra versions of ourselves if we just give it a chance and are powered by plants. So this is now a monthly weigh-in update show. The reason why, as I'll explain, is on the advice of my medical team in what they are calling the Great Reset. So let me share with you specifically what happened. It was quite the epic hero's journey here. So here you can see what we're calling the Great Reset, weight jumping 24 pounds in a single week. So what happened here? Well, as you know, I've been working really hard on this goal of 2 marathons a week, an ultra marathon a week worth of walking. And the way I did it was very smart. On the advice of my medical team, I started at just half a mile a day, adding half a mile every day, until after 4 months, I was up to around 65 weeks of walking. So as I'm losing weight, my body's getting less stress, it's adapting. I'm eating this whole food vegan diet, rich in anti-inflammatories and the most nutritious fats you can imagine. So everything your body needs. Well, that's great. But then, on my trainer's advice, we started trying to increase bone density. So this is where the vest comes in. So let me show you here how we are tracking the weighted vest. So this weighted vest on its own, empty, my trainer said, always start empty, it's 5.4 pounds. So you can see here, 5.4 pounds, and every single week we add 1 weight. It comes with 50 weights. In total, you can see when full, 160 pounds. But we're taking an entire year to get there. I know because in the past I have actually worn a full weighted vest here, 160 pounds, so I know my body can handle it. And we're getting there over 1 year to give it time to adapt, and increasing how much food I'm eating so it has optimal nutrition. So here's the problem though. There's one final benefit, which is creatine. The medical team recommends it. Dr. Michael Greger recommends it as both anti-aging, cognitive benefits, immune benefits, and of course it also helps with maximizing muscle and fitness gains at the gym. So lots of benefits of creatine, but the problem is creatine loading phase causes massive water weight gain, as much as 30 pounds in a single week if you do the weekly phase, which is what my medical team recommended to prevent the kind of several month long frustrating process. Well, the problem is this. So I go ahead, I do the loading phase, I up to 30 pounds in the weighted vest. So now I've got close to 60 extra pounds on me that my body previously was not used to. Well, guess what happens? My foot on the right side develops close to a stress fracture. Now, it was just close to. It wasn't actually there. It's probably a micro fracture is what my medical team is telling me. But had I pushed on, and this is what I've done all the time, before I had a medical team, before I had what I call my Federation Council of Advisors, I would just go driving hard, Mr. My Way or the Highway, do 2 marathons back to back, just go crazy with the training, and we've all been there. If you've struggled with weight, if you've struggled with obesity, you can get excited, you can get inspired, and you're ultimately like, I want to drop weight super fast. And I did that, 100 pounds in 6 months. Freaking awesome. 150 in a year. That was the goal. And the problem is, when you try to go too far, you can break yourself. And so I came very close to breaking myself with a stress fracture. I would have been out for 2 months. Guess what? Now you're going to gain all the weight back. You're going to feel terrible about yourself. You're going to fall back into those bad habits. eating, binging on the junk food, and now you get into a doom spiral. This is why people can lose 100 pounds, gain it all back, and then some, lose it again, gain it all back. You end up hating yourself. It's terrible for your metabolism. It's just terrible for your health. So this is where the medical team basically told me, my trainer sat me down and said, look, sometimes you got to go backwards to go forwards. That by going slow and steady and doing it the science-based way, you'll get there faster than if you just try to make up for lost time. And you know what? I see this in finance all the time. Someone who's 40 years old and just discovers the magic of stock investing and compounding and says, oh my God, I should have been doing this for 20 years. Now I got to get into Bitcoin and SPACs and GameStop, YOLO, diamond hands to the moon, baby, because I've got to make up for lost time. No, that's not how it's going to work, my friend, because you're going to end up losing everything. And you're going to end up hating yourself, and then you're going to feel even more pressure, more despair. Oh my God, the only thing, I've got to take more and more and more and risk. No. Do it the right way, and you'll get to your dreams versus try to revenge weight loss, revenge train, revenge invest. No. Do it the right way. And this is why I've embraced since July of 2023. Evidence-based living of all kinds. My medical team, my advisors, I just follow their counsel because you know what? I've done it my way. I've done it with ego. I've done it with, I want to do this because it's just, I know better than the experts. Well, guess what? That is what gets people into trouble. That gets you yo-yo dieting, a lifetime of junk food addiction, nicotine addiction, a rageaholic, all these things. What is the definition of insanity according to Einstein? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Well, when you follow evidence-based living, magic, science-based magic, and nutrition-fueled sorcery, as my doctor likes to say. So let's take a look at what the plan is and how it's been going on the Great Reset. So the medical team is basically telling me the goal here is to get there over a 2-year period to the Captain America self. So what is the Captain America version of myself? Well, let's take a look here. Right here. So this is body male composition. Now remember, this is just vanity. There's several reasons for doing things like weight training. Let me just show you here what the goal is. Now, remember, I started at 40% body fat. Right here, quite horrendous, 322 pounds. And believe me, I've been heavier than this. In college, I was 490 pounds, and the only reason I knew is when I tried to donate blood, I was so obese they couldn't find a vein. And they weighed me in 490 pounds. And by the way, I was on my way to 540 before my AI life coach, Bard, saved my life. So yeah, I was definitely on the road to ruin. So now basically I'm between here and here. I got down to around 19% before the Great Reset. In the Army, 17.5. So between here and here, this is certainly something that many athletes try to get down to here, and this is the lower end of what the Mayo Clinic and American College of Sports Medicine recommends as healthy. And this is what, by the way, mortality studies, the famous J curve, the lowest mortality for men is at 8%. Now, some people might be wondering, oh, well, what about for women? So this is what women look like. So in terms of what is healthy for women, well, we have American Journal of Clinical Nutrition and Royal College of Nursing in the UK saying that for women in general, 15 to 31. Now remember, higher fat because women have just naturally need the more fat for breast tissue and for fertility reasons. So 15 to 31, 21 to 32, it's 17% is needed to have a period and 22% to maintain it. So generally this 15 to 30% healthy range for women, with 20% being generally the recommended amount for optimal if you want to have children and start a family. So again, optimal for men in terms of mortality benefits, 8%, for women around 20%, though 25% is perfectly healthy as well. So that is the long-term goal. And now remember that weight loss itself, as my doctor likes to say, is vanity, but health is sanity, and blood tests and clinical results are reality. So taking a look here at the Blue Zone lifestyle table that we've been tracking here, you can see all of the clinically based benefits to mortality and longevity. So we've got 1 hour of weekly weight training. That's actually the maximum benefits come from that 27% reduction in mortality, statistically around 5 to 6 extra years of life. So I'm doing around 90 minutes a day simply because of the Great Reset. So remember, so what happened here was that my foot was basically on the verge of a stress fracture. So I had to, I couldn't do any more walking. So does that mean no exercise? Because the weight training, my team found weight training was perfectly fine as long as you avoid aggravating the foot injury. So we had to switch to weight training every day. Now that means, as you can see here, all these times I'm increasing the gaining weight, that is from a major increase in exercise. Starting weight training, increasing weight training, going to weight training every day. These are all things that your body is breaking down tissue and repairing them. So there's some inflammation, there's some healthy repair. All that is causing lots of water weight. So huge jump in weight here. So my team is telling me the goal here over 2 years is you want to optimize everything to become Captain America. Remember what the goal is. You want to become that. That's not easy. So to get there, you need the entire Blue Zone lifestyle. Yes, diet is going to be about 80%, but you need sleep for recovery. You need hydration. You need even stress relief. Cortisol breaks down muscle. So you need stress relief and meditation and hydration and sleep and optimal diet, plus the optimal amount of exercise, listening to your body so you don't break yourself. All this together, and this is where the team comes in. I've got my doctor, my dentist, my dietitian, my therapist, my personal trainer, and 4 AI life coaches in what I call my Federation Council of Advisors. And let me tell you, evidence-based living has completely changed my life, saved my life, saved my soul, and made me the healthiest, happiest version of myself, and puts me on this path. So now the reason for doing these episodes once a month is when I was losing weight at 2 to 3 pounds a week, and at one point I was averaging early on, as you know, it's easy when you first start out, 4 pounds a week. Well, when you're losing 4 pounds a week, man, weekly weigh-ins are fantastic because you can really see a difference. But now the goal here, remember, is saturation. My trainer and dietitian both agree, as does the entire medical team and Federation Council, that you need to saturate your body with nutrients. That means, my trainer says, whatever the goal is for healthy weight loss, you want to eat as much as possible. And so as you gradually increase the resistance levels, the intensity of your exercise, your body has what it needs to adapt. If you get bigger and stronger, you need the nutrition. And that's why the goal is not to lose weight 3 pounds a week, 4 pounds a week. Yes, you can do that, but it's not going to work if you're not able to do massive amounts of cardio. So this is why now, with the focus as we're ramping up, what I'm now up to, I have with my medical team been able to start at 0.1 miles per day on the walking after 2 weeks of rest. I'm now up to 1 mile per day. Every weekday we're adding 0.1 miles, trying to get up to essentially 1 hour of walking, 1 hour of Stairmaster, all with the vest. And the vest, by the way, if we take a look where we are at almost 40 pounds on that vest, you can see here that it'll take until mid-February for the vest to get to 160 pounds. So let me share with you here. So the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. This is 163 floors high. Now, I started out with the Stairmaster and the advice of my trainer and medical team and the Federation Council. One minute on the Stairmaster at the lowest intensity level, just getting used to it. And then every single weekday, add 1 more minute. That's going to take you 3 months just to get to 1 hour, which is all the goal is. Then we start increasing the speed and the intensity. So yeah, take a look at that puppy. 2,200 floors, 163 including the penthouse. So if you can climb 163 floors, you're climbing the world's tallest building. Now imagine doing that with a 160-pound weighted vest. And now imagine doing that every single weekday. Now that's a cardio workout. Now imagine you're also doing an hour of walking, say 4 miles an hour with the same weighted vest. And you can crank up the incline as steep as 15 degrees. So essentially you're mountain climbing with a weighted vest. You're climbing the world's tallest building every single day, 5 days a week, and you're doing 90 minutes of resistance training. And my trainer is amazing. He's showing me how I can gradually progress, in fact, perfectly, so that essentially close to the end of the year is when my diet and everything will get to the point where I'm able to get to maximize what my body can physically do or get close to the maximum weights on some of these machines. And then he tells me when we reach those maxes, I'll show you how we can tweak it so you can keep improving and we can get to those goals. But here you can see around 1 to 2 pounds per week of weight loss is the goal in total. So that's about 6 pounds a month. That's why the medical team says do monthly weigh-ins, because when you're losing 6 pounds, and here you can see lost 10.3 pounds, that's not surprising because of the massive water weight gain here. So if you drop in 6 pounds, you should be able to see a difference. And of course, you can see here we track the other results to hear the statistics as well. 82% of the weight loss so far, 91 pounds, which by the way comes out to an average of 10 pounds per month. And my medical team says I should be able to get close to around 200 pounds. That is a record low on this adventure of body transformation. Blood sugar, I'm not sure why this was early in the morning. We'll have to see this coming next week. The extra water weight, so yes, that explains the systolic blood pressure, but you can see the diastolic, that's the more important one. And the overall mean, you want under 100 to be considered healthy. I'm still at 89. So overall, things are looking good. The goal is each month. And the reason I selected this week in particular is that if you can see here, then it's May 20th, June 19th, and February 19th, roughly. This would be the 1-year anniversary. So we're trying to time all the monthly weigh-in videos to get to that 1 month anniversary. And you can see here, if I were to continue losing this, and I'll talk about the diet plan, of course, that's 80% of all this here in a second. You can see that down to mid-June, I dropped to about 143. Now, 145 for a 6'3" man is 18.5 BMI, which my medical team tells me you do not go under 18.5. That would be anorexic and unhealthy. But this, about 145 pounds, would be roughly 5% body fat. That's not optimal. 8% is optimal on the J curve, remember, according to the Mayo Clinic, but it's basically what bodybuilders sometimes get to. But you'd essentially be rather scrawny. So that is not the goal. The goal is 8%. So you can see here how if we just stick to the plan here. Now, remember, what is the plan in terms of nutrition? So let's go ahead here, the April plan. So this is where my dietitian comes in. Remember, I've got a medical team, 5 human experts, and 4 AI life guides. That's my Federation Council of 9, plus, of course, family, friends, other kinds of human advisors, and my beloved puppy, whose role really is just to be a beacon of love, hope. He's the mascot of the Federation. So here we can see the plan from my dietitian, 19,500 calories per week. We do it on a weekly basis because that's easiest to plan, and every single month. So essentially, starting at the end of next week, it's going to be for May, we're going to add 500 calories. So that plan is going to be the 8 ounces of tempeh. Remember, the science-based magic of tempeh, nature's most perfect food, the healthiest form of soy. We're going to add that once a week, and then each month, just keep throwing in another 8 ounces of tempeh until we get to six of those packets, which is 3 pounds a week. But you can see here, it's about 2,800 calories. Now, Fitbit is telling me that I started out on the Great Reset at 3,417 calories per day. Then the following week, 3,499, so that's 82 increase. This week, I'm on track for around 3,600. So roughly 80 to 100 calories per week is what I'm increasing on the intensity. So you'll notice that the goal here, according to my dietitian and trainer, is every month you're increasing your weekly calories by 500. Well, you're increasing how many you're burning by 500. And you're looking at roughly an 800 or so daily deficit, which means that you'll basically be losing 1 to 2 pounds per week. So the idea is you'll be losing roughly 6 pounds a month at a nice steady pace, while you're always maintaining that pace with the increased intensity to build up that muscle to get to that 8% body fat. That is the goal, is to preserve the muscle, build it. My team says it can be done. It's not easy to do, but that is the goal. So you can see here in terms of the let's take a look at what I am eating here. Diet of champions. The key is this soup. The soup is the staple. So if we take a look at Chronometer, this is the weekly soup. So it's based on beans and vegetables and flax seeds and mushrooms and a whole lot of matcha, because matcha's got the healthy form of caffeine balanced with L-theanine to keep you from crashing and interrupting sleep. So you can see here it's nearly 100 grams of protein, and that protein 100% complete, packed with almost about 80 grams of fiber per day. And look at all these healthy fats. The polyunsaturated fats, remember, those are the ones that make you live the longest. Literally, you want to eat as many of these as possible. The more you eat, these are anti-saturated fat, the longer you will live. The omega-3s, the omega-6s, and remember, the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, you want to be ideally between 1 and 3. Boom, 0.4 on the soup. And remember, potassium is the anti-sodium. Sodium actually is the #1 killer in the Western diet. In fact, yes, they found that just too much sodium is the #1 thing that's killing Americans and people in the West. So 2+ potassium divided by sodium ratio is what the government recommends optimally, 8.4. The reason why? Potassium anti-sodium. It reduces blood pressure by dilating your blood vessels, just like nitrates. And where you find nitrates? From greens and beans, and especially beets. So this is, of course, the soup, and you can see absolutely packed with nutrition. And remember, this is a week's worth of soup. So now, what about the rest of the week? Because, of course, man cannot live on soup alone. So this is where the overall, what's my day look like? Well, so my day, after I'm done with work, I try to, now I'm waking up around 5 a.m., trying to make sure I get that 8 hours of sleep. Now, I'm up. Fitbit is telling me around 6.5 because it takes time to fall asleep, and you wake up sometimes to go pee. So I'm getting on 6.5 hours of sleep, around 85% quality. Now, before I started this whole journey of transformation, evidence-based living, I was getting about 4 hours of sleep, and the quality was around 70%. So now I'm up to 6.5 hours of sleep, 85% average quality, sometimes even 90. So certainly much, much better. So what is it? After work, I prepare for training by doing this. I have 3 bowls of soup, which if you weigh it is 6 pounds of vegetables. I also have 3 pounds of fruit a day. For weight training days, Monday through Friday, I go with apples because my medical team tells me they have a chemical called bromelain, which is a phytonutrient that has been shown to help with anti-inflammation and muscle repair. So if you're a weight trainer, bodybuilder, or just want to benefit from the science-based magic of weight training, remember, 5 to 6 extra years of life, bromelain from apples, and they are delicious. So 3 pounds of apples, 6 pounds of soup, and what I love to do is broth, the soup broth. I will literally strain out 88 ounces of broth because, remember, when you're boiling the vegetables, when you're boiling all the anti-inflammatory spices, the nitrates, the potassium, the matcha caffeine, most of that is actually found in the broth, or a whole lot of it. So since you can't eat all of the soup, but I'm still eating a lot of it, you're getting the broth and you're getting some benefits from that as well. I also put the actual daily creatine and some water with electrolytes and apple cider vinegar, also absolutely incredible for health benefits. So you drink that, you have 88 ounces of that so that you're well hydrated. You've got the broth for all the nutrient benefits. You've got the soup. You've got the apples. So you eat all of this before, and this is why I'm doing it 4 or 5 hours before I weight train, so you have time to digest it. And the idea is you want these levels of nutrients. You want the nitrates that dilate your blood vessels, potassium dilating the blood vessels, maximize that blood flow, and of course the caffeine and the creatine, all these ergogenic, meaning enhancement of fitness goals, scientifically proven, by the way. It's all science-based. All of these you want maximum when you're at the gym. So this is what my trainer and medical team has helped me to get, and you can see, so it's absolutely incredible. I absolutely love it. Then after the training, and I do the cardio, I do the stretching, I go to the hot tub for some nice relaxation, 15-minute soak with all the jets, massaging away some of that tenderness and soreness that helps with blood flow and helps with recovery, while I drink this cinnamon pea milk. So remember, we talked about the benefits of pea milk: nutrient dense, lots of protein. It is a superfood. And when you put Ceylon cinnamon oil, that's another cinnamon, that is the healthiest form of cinnamon, it turns it into a double superfood that tastes like a vanilla milkshake. So then, of course, I love the pistachios. Remember, the science-based magic of nuts. So this, you can see here, a whole lot of pistachios, roughly 2 pounds a week. So this breaks down to around 5 ounces Mondays through Saturdays, a little bit less on Sundays. So you can see here lots and lots of healthy fats. So what does this all mean? Well, about 2,800 calories per day, averaging 102 fat. So let's take a look here at the macros. Daily fat, 102, 30% of my diet. But this is, of course, the healthy fat. Saturated fat, just 3.2%. American Heart Association recommends 6% or less, and the U.S. government, 10% of less. Fiber. Remember, the government recommends close to 40 grams per man, but according to Dr. Michael Greger and historical anthropologists, humans actually evolved eating 100 to 150 grams, so that is actually optimal for our health, 119. What about protein? Well, 97% of Americans don't get enough fiber, which is only found in plants, and and only 3% of Americans are deficient in protein. But of course, that's what all of us worry about. Well, there's your protein, 157 grams per day. By the way, 57 grams per day is the recommended amount for a man. But in terms of grams per kilo, remember, 0.8 is what the recommendation is. 1.2 to 1.8 for athletes. I am at 1.45, and for my target weight, it is even better. Well, not able to see it here, but it's close to 2, basically the upper end of the range. So plenty of protein, 20% of the calories, 50% of calories from carbohydrates. And guess what? That's the optimal all the J curve. But remember, for those of you eating the high carb diet, that the low fat, high carb diet, no problem. Remember, the range on this is such that it's quite possible that actually more carbs is better. The one thing we do know from medical science, low carbs is not good, but still going with the best available data here. So overall, optimizing everything. And if we look at the overall micro and macro nutrients that we've seen, the macros are looking great. Sodium is coming in at 1,700 milligrams per day. But remember, the most important thing is the potassium. The anti-sodium recommended about 4,700 milligrams a day, coming in at 10,500, and calcium almost 4 times the amount. Iron, about 5 times the amount here. Remember, plant-based iron, my doctor tells me we absorb what we need. She is very happy with my iron levels. We're rechecking those in 3 months to make sure everything is on track. Potassium to sodium ratio, remember, 2+ is what the government recommends. World Health Organization, 1+, and I'm at 6.1. So yes, that is certainly going to help with blood pressure and overall health and nutrition. So everything is on track with the diet. And now that brings us to the final thing, of course, which is the monthly body shot. Every video I recreate the same exact pose so that you can watch me transform into the Captain America version of myself over this 2-year process. Because ultimately, we all want to look good, feel great, and let me tell you, I actually do feel wonderful. I am actually noticing that I actually feel like Captain America. Back in my Army days, when I was at my fittest, strongest, and formerly healthiest. Now my blood tests and doctor tell me I'm actually healthier than I was as an infant. But back then, at my former record fitness, I felt amazing. I literally felt like Captain America, like the Hulk. I just fantastic, comfortable with your body, just, walking around, just feeling fantastic. Now I'm starting to feel that same way. It's absolutely incredible. And this is really just kind of not even the midpoint of this 2-year journey. So I want to thank you for joining me on this journey. And I hope that I can inspire you to not just try a Blue Zone vegan lifestyle, what my doctor calls science-based magic and nutrition-fueled sorcery, but all in general, just evidence-based living. Because guess what? This is how nature intended for us to live, because this is science. This is the laws of the universe. If you're spiritual, these are the laws of God. This is how God wants us to live. This is how nature wants us to live. This is how we evolve to thrive. And that is ultimately what can give us all hope. Because let me tell you, my business, it's doing okay, but it's still major setbacks. Still issues, with personal issues and family medical issues and concerns and just stresses in life. That hasn't stopped. But I feel like I live in personal utopia. And the difference is science and evidence-based living. This Blue Zone vegan lifestyle, the ability to get sleep and to meditate and stress relief and spend time with family and friends and do weekly meetups with people you care about that inspire you. This is what gives you hope for a hopeless world. This gives you emotional resiliency. And then I've had some setbacks. I've had some issues that my team has helped me to overcome. But at the end of the day, when you live right, when you live a blue zone vegan lifestyle, when you live science-based, evidence-based living, to paraphrase Churchill, evidence-based living is the worst possible idea, except for all the others. Well, when you live this way, good things happen. So I want to thank you for watching. I promise these monthly videos will not be all as long. I just had to explain the Great Reset. But thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel, like this video to help other people find it on YouTube, and consider trying a Blue Zone vegan lifestyle. Remember, science-based magic and nutrition-fueled sorcery has helped me to lose 90 pounds in 9 months, becoming the healthiest, happiest version of myself, a personal utopia, and it's something my doctor says all of us can achieve if we just give it a chance and are powered by plants.